All right, I wanted to update you with regard to the plot plan development and the floor plan and foundation development as well. First, in terms of the plot plan, in terms of locating where the house is on the land in relation to the actual lot lines, this was my review of that. This is the county's historic map from 1957. And I wanted to point out about this map, and I have not emailed the city. I telephoned them to ask them about what the normal right-of-way is. You see it here is 15, 35, 16, so it's 16 here as well, and 49 and a half is what they're saying. I don't know if that's what holds true today, and have not asked them. But the curious thing to me is that these two, this is a 90-degree angle here, these two, and you can see, and I haven't asked them whether, is that street actually laid out. If I rotate this to the right, clockwise, to line up this bottom, it is substantially off of 90 degrees. I don't know if that's an artifact of the paper or something else, but something to be aware of. And here it is. I'm showing these are the roads, and the 16 foot that I am assuming carries through, or the 59 or 49 and a half feet that carries through. All of these dimensions were taken from these are actual dimensions taken at the site from the known objects, edges of curbs, edges of sidewalks, and to the building. Now this is not to the lot line, because I cannot establish exactly where this south lot line is. The upshot of this part of the film is that probably you're almost going to have a surveyor locate at least this pin and that pin, and that we should be able to be very, very close, right within an inch or two, within an inch, if those two pins are located. And this pin, and they give us some, and the city confirms that their right of way is either 50 feet or 49 and a half feet. Next, in locating this house going north up and down, north and south, these are also known dimensions. That one there, from this to the fence, that's the fence, the brown line's the fence. And now this here, 27.2 feet, that is to the foundation. From foundation to foundation is 27.2 feet, regardless of what this photo currently shows, and part of that is coming. And also confirmed back there, 40.9. All of these are dimensions that have been taken and are verified. So the issue is where this is the garage structure that's been put in, since it's been very nearly dimensioned. This is not known exactly, but these points here are known, and this is that foundation for that house over there, regardless of what the photographic overlay reflects. This is the sewer and the little curb down there. But I did do a little line up here. I didn't bother shifting this left to right, because these sidewalks are well established. Their location in relation to the house is well established, and you can see they overlay this photograph pretty well. So I'm assuming that this is just because of the angle of the airplane or whatever, satellite, whatever took this photograph. Now that this has all been firmed up, and remember we made that parking lot plan, the first parking lot plan, from the county sketch and some dimensions I took at this back lot the day I was down there. Now all of this first floor and basement, all of these walls that can be seen, and these things here are the brick structures in the house, and the stairs. All of those walls and partitions and pieces those dimensions are within an inch or so. And again, this is the location. All these outside dimensions are good outside. So when we plug in that one of the most viable parking lot alternatives and shift everything as it needs to be shifted. So the neighbor has, that's part of their land. If this is all right, this is part of their land here, and so that had to be accounted for. But I guess it didn't. We were okay with it, except the city, and one of their requirements was that the pavement, I think the driveway has to be back 10 feet, if I'm remembering that right. In any event, it still works, which was I was glad to find out. And depending on where this west or east lot line is, you may be able to make this parking even better than what we had last looked at. As you can see, if you watch at vehicle parking length and the vehicle parking width, those both increased by a fairly substantial length. So that would be good to know. Though it's hard for me to imagine that all of this is not already on your land, that this thing isn't up here further. But that's in conflict with the photograph, at least the photographic overlay. And this brings us to something I mentioned in an email, that first parking lot was designed, I already told you what that first parking lot was designed from this county sketch. And you can see it's a pretty substantial, larger than what they think or have recorded. Up close, so about 370 feet. So certainly more than 10-15% anyway. All this here. That was for your information. There's all the walls up close. And in the basement, this is in place. All this is in place. This is something that they were adding, which helps us pretty substantially there. All this has to be checked completely, but right now that's where we are in that part of the process. This is the there's that again up close. And this is about what the structure is looking like down in the basement. And on the first floor, I have casing on all the windows, but yes, this is more or less everything's within an inch in any event. This here has not been put together. As far as the first floor goes, this rear staircase has not been put together. These are errors here, but that's all. I look forward to whatever comes next. Just for fun, when I was down there taking dimensions, as you know what the condition of all these walls are, most all of them are open. But when I was down there taking dimensions on one day, I was right back here, and I lost my tape measure. And I did run out to the car once to admonish the dogs, but I double-checked that path, and there was none in the car. And I need to tell you, I have searched this entire first floor seriously with a flashlight and did not find. And I know I was in this room and did not leave this room except to go through the back door. But nevertheless, on the first day when I lost the tape, my search there yielded nothing through this whole front half. And another day I came down with purpose and searched the entire perimeter, and you know how open it is. And searched here. I even went down to see if it happened to fall through one of these floorboards, and found no tape measure. So if somebody turns that up, I would be curious, A, to know exactly where it was, B, I'd be happy to have it back. Because when I was down here on that second search, look, not to turn this into story time, but when I was down here on that second search, doing that perimeter search, when I got to the very end, I looked everywhere in through here. When I came to the very end, I noticed that this wall was open on the stairwell side, and I looked down in there, and here there is something blue that is a tape measure. It's an upgrade from my 25 foot to a 30 foot. The brand is Cobalt. I'm not going to shout it out, but there it is. So if somebody locates that, as I said, I would be very curious to know exactly where. That is all, and I'll look forward to whatever happens next with this. Thanks.